You are absolutely correct. At 7:06, we will call the meeting to order. So we will start with the opening remarks, and that is from me. So I just want to say I appreciate the NPU family. I believe our work is very valuable. It's building better communities, a better quality of life in our community. I just have a few housekeeping guidelines. If you would, just stay muted throughout the meetings just to prevent the background noise. Also, if you wish to speak, please use the raise hand feature. That's located in the reactions tab in Zoom, or you can check the participant section for older versions of Zoom. If you're calling from a phone, use the *6, I believe, to unmute, or *9 to use the raise hand feature. Gloria, correct me if I'm wrong on that. And also, whenever you use the raise hand feature, we will call you to the floor to be presented. That will allow us to maintain Robert's Rule of Order and allow one person to be speaking at the floor at one time so that we can have a smooth flowing meeting. With that being said,
Just to add, Mr. Chair, it's *6 to unmute, to mute and unmute, *9. *6 is that additional factor, if you will repeat that.
Yeah, so *6 to mute and unmute from your phone, and *9 to use the raise hand feature. That's how you'll do it from your phone if you're calling in from phone. I'm gonna remind you throughout the meeting, especially if we are out of order. But if you are raising your hand or you choose to speak in an inappropriate time, you may be muted, but don't charge that to my head. We're just trying to keep the flow of the meeting going. All right, we're gonna move forward to some shout outs. I'd like to shout out the Joyland community. They made a wonderful, they have a mural that's built in Langford Park. So it's within NPU-Y, and they have a beautiful mural. So if you would just stop by there and take a look at it, and I appreciate the Joyland community for help spearheading that, especially Ken Akbar and the and other people from the Joyland community. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Nicole Westwasser, Dr. Atia Avery, and Gloria Wynn for helping us push forward in closing out the 2020 Community Impact Grant. We did reach out to the city with the closeout documents, but we have yet to hear from them. So hopefully that get closed out soon. The last shout out, I'd like to give a welcoming, just saying welcome to the South Atlanta Civic League, the new executive board, Devon Dixon, Tanisha Corporal, Devron Woodworth, Tiffany Blake, Melody Ford, Shireen Brown, and Leslie Wilkie. I just want to give you appreciation for choosing to be community leaders, and I look forward to continuing the relationship with the South Atlanta community. Moving forward, we're going to go ahead and move to the approval of the minutes. The June minutes is currently on the website. I will go ahead and post it into the chats. Actually, let me find it. Give me a second here. Here it is.
May I motion to approve June minutes per their publication on the website and at planning, I believe, as well.
So moved by Gloria. Can I get a second?
Second, James.
I'll second Kelly Jean.
I think I heard James and Kelly Jean. James said it first, so seconded by James. All those who are not in favor, use the raise hand feature. Those who are not in favor of moving it forward, or those who want to make any edits to the current minutes. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and move forward so So last meetings was approved. We're gonna move forward to the approval of the agenda. Can I solicit a motion to approve the agenda? It's currently on the City of Atlanta website and the NPU-Y website.
Motion to approve, James.
Second, Gloria.
Motion to approve by James and seconded by Gloria. All those who are not in favor of moving forward with the agenda, please raise your hand at this time. Not in favor. None being there, we'll go ahead and move forward to reports from the department representatives. One thing to note is if you have not done so far, please go ahead and input in your information. If you are a department or city representative that would like to speak, go ahead and do it as soon as you can. We will start with the police department. I think Major Pete is online.
Thank you, sir, and evening, everyone. So I really just wanted to start out kind of repeat what I said last month. We still continue to see some burglaries in your NPU-Y, in your NPU. One of the things I do want to point out, we have arrested several people for burglary. However, the cycle is continuing, so we know there are more than one out there. One of the things that's driving the numbers is houses under renovation, vacant homes where they're going in stealing copper if copper's still in the house, and unfortunately they count as a burglary against the Part 1 crimes. And so if you see anyone at a vacant home under renovation, and you see anything suspicious, please dial 911 or write down a tag or anything like that if you can. Also, I talked about leaving the keys and key fobs in the vehicle. Also, just to add, situation we had last month, mother put a kid in the car, started it up, left the kid in the car, and unfortunately somebody came by, jumped in and drove off. The car didn't go very far, the kid was safe, but that's just an example, of not leaving your car running or key fob in the vehicle, especially with your kids if you're gonna do it. That's it for me. I'm open for any questions.
Is there any questions? Please use that raise hand feature. If you have any questions for the benefit of the body for Captain Adams. All right. Captain Adams, I'm sorry, Major Pete, I appreciate it for all the work that you're doing in the police department and keeping us safe.
No problem. Thank you.
Moving forward to fire department. Is there any representative from the fire department?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good. Couple things, pretty much same status quo as far as last month also. We are finishing up our car seat technicians. They're being trained through the end of next month also. We're going to have a whole plethora of new car seat technicians, because we're bringing our car seat program back into full action, hopefully very soon. I do not have a certain date on that, but I do know that we are in training, and we have our technicians being trained at this time as we speak. So fire calls have been down this month. Our hydrant season is over. We have taken all of the defective hydrants that we have found and turned them into our new data system, and the water department will be working on those. And we'll be working diligently with them also to take care of these issues. I know we've had one issue with one we've been trying to take care of. We just can't get it turned off. So that has been notified and put out. Closed door campaign, keep the doors closed if you leave, especially if you go on vacations and you leave town for a bit. Keep the bedroom doors closed. If something was to happen, it can save a lot of your property. So we try to keep the closed door campaign, we talk about as much as possible. With that being said, that's pretty much all I have. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Is there any questions for Battalion Chief Dobson for the benefit of the body? Please use the raise hand feature at this time. Gloria?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Seems like the equipment seems like you all are meeting at the Burdine Center. And I asked the officers if they would not park both ways on that hilltop And I think they're adhering to it now because it creates a hazard whereby folks are having to enter the other lane. Have they mentioned that to you, that while they're using it to see if they can park elsewhere other than on Lakewood Way because of the hazard?
Yes, ma'am. I can make that phone call as soon as I get off of this meeting with you and make sure that happens.
Yeah, and don't be too mean to, because I spoke to them, but just let
No,
them know.
no.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be nice to
Okay.
them. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. though.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Dr. Saunders?
Yes, I have a
Jeff,
question. Thank you. Major Peak, we are in the process of planning our open house events for both Thomasville Heights and Slater Elementary School. Both events will be held next Friday. We would like to have a fire engine at the events. Is that possible? Can you help us with this?
I can make a phone call for you. Yes, ma'am. If you would also, do you have something to take down a number also?
Okay, one moment. I did go online and fill out that form
Yes, ma'am.
because I did call today and they told me to go and fill out a form, which I've done that already.
Okay, can you do me a favor? I've left my email address
I
on the
have it.
chat. If you
Yes.
would shoot me an email as soon as possible, and then I'll get it to the right authorities or my upper management, and we'll get that taken care of for you.
Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Doc.
Dr. Saunders, this is Major Peak. My email and phone number in the chat also. If you would send me an email, give me a call tomorrow.
Thank for you. Thank you all so very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any other questions for the fire department? Please use the raise hand feature. All right. None being there, we appreciate it.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
You guys
Dr.
have a
for
great
everything.
evening.
All right, you too. Moving forward, we're going to call Officer Hopkins to the floor from code enforcement.
Good evening, NPU-Y. I'm Officer Hopkins with Code Enforcement. I'm filling in for Officer Sobers. She'll be back with you guys the next month. They gave me the report. For y'all NPU, you guys had over 100 cases, and all of those cases, 16 of them were actually in pretty bad shape, and 2 of them are being taken care of by the city, so to be demolished and everything. The city opened back up officially like June 6th. So like our office is back up and running in full swing. Nobody can still, citizens still cannot come to our office, not till next month, but we are back up and running fully. I don't have anything else to report, but I will take any questions.
Yeah. One thing to note is James did, as you can see on the screen, he also has the count that we get from the code enforcement every month.
Roger.
Yep, absolutely. Is there any question for code enforcement? Melody Ford?
Hi, I live on Fairfield, and there's a home there are a group of women, and it has a stop work order on the home. We're trying to figure out why it's being occupied with a bunch of women.
I mean, stop work order. I mean, that's mean they can't really do no. They can still stay there. They just can't really do no work on a home without the permit. And I normally the Office of Buildings does is the stop work order.
But what about the women? We were told they were going to be like some kind of women's shelter. Are they zoned for that?
I have no idea. I could probably find out for you.
Yeah, can I send you the address?
Yes, you may. I mean, I'll put my information in the chat.
Thanks so much. I know the police have been out there several times due to noise and whatever. So we're just trying to, I'm with the South Atlanta Civic League, trying to figure out what to do with that situation.
I got you. I understand.
Thanks.
I have a question.
I'll use the raise hand feature, please. It's like 2 people in front, and 3 people.
I'm sorry, I'm driving,
No worries.
so whenever I'm able to speak, let me
Okay, I'll let you know. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Gloria?
Yes, sir. Is there, and maybe I missed it to the executive team, is there any way we can get a copy of the addresses that are being cited in this matrix here?
They're there. They're on the second tab.
Okay, they are there? Okay, thanks.
Click on the link in the chat room. You can pull up this file and it's the second tab.
Thanks with the justice. Thanks, James.
Paul McMurray.
Yeah, I think James answered the question. I gotta go to the spreadsheet because I really wanted to know that address because there's a similar situation in Lakewood. The same thing is going. That's what our rezoning is about. We had an ADU request a meeting or two ago. So apparently, you know, NPU-Y is like the first stop for women's shelters in the city of Atlanta. Because it seems like every meeting we have some type of issue with it. That's all I want to say.
Appreciate it, Paul. Shante?
Hi, I just wanted to ask Mr. Hopkins for if there are like overgrowth that is growing into the tree where it's obstructing traffic, do we just call 311 about that to report it?
Yes, because they make the determination whether it's if it's on a city right away, then the city will come out and cut it. But if it's from somebody's property, then it'll come to code enforcement. We'll get the owners to come out and cut it.
Okay, yeah, it does belong to someone. It's someone's personal property.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I was on mute. And the person that was on the call on the phone that was driving, I think it was
Yes,
Raquel.
hi.
Hey,
Yes, thank you. Hi, I live in Joyland, and there is a property directly across the street from the store, the store down, the three-way store down there on Claire and Pryor. But there's a property, a huge piece of property there, and it has overgrown to the point that on Hip Street, and I've submitted a request probably 2 or 3 times a month on this, and we've never had any response from it. It's gotten to the point now where it's all over in the street, and we can't even back up the street without our cars being scratched up. And the grass, the trees, is everything is coming out in the street. And this is the back part of the property.
Is that the one owned by the church? No?
I don't think the church owns it anymore, but yeah, that's the huge lot I'm talking about.
And you already made a complaint on that property?
Yes, many times, and nothing has been done.
I'll put my information in the chat. If you can't send me that address, and I'll look into it, and I'll call you back personally.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Officer Hopkins, for everything that you're doing in code enforcement.
Yes, sir.
Moving forward.
Mr. Chair, one last question about arborists. Is that your department, code enforcement, where you, in the effort to get an arborist out to take a look at trees to determine if they are nuisance or compromised? Is that your department?
Oh no, that's actually there is a department known as the city arborist, and that they normally handle that.
So we can't come through you to get to them because they don't normally appear here.
You normally should just be able to go straight to them.
Tedious, very tedious. I think they're understaffed, but again, I'll reach you personally. Maybe you can tell us how to get to the arborist otherwise.
And I put my information in the chat, so.
Thanks, thank you.
So I'm gonna take one more question from Randy, and then we'll move forward from there. Randy.
Sorry, this is actually responding to Gloria. Gloria, you can call arborists directly, but they don't do anything on private property.
Well, I understand a little differently, Randy. I understand if it's a nuisance. Some issues on private properties create a threat to to a greater threat. And I think it's the ivy in part, but that's the language I'm hearing is if you can convince the arborist that it's a nuisance, then.
I had a giant dead tree that was gonna fall, was actually dropping on one of my houses, and the arborist said that that's a private matter that they don't.
All right.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, and then, yeah, just, send a message, Gloria. I think we have the arborist information as well, so I should see if I can get that over to you. Moving forward, we are, let me look at the, Officer Burns, we're gonna move forward to the solicitor's office. Solicitor Burns.
Good evening, NPU-Y. This is Attorney Burns from the City Solicitor's Office. Speaking of nuisance properties, the last NPU meeting, I asked if you all had any issues with properties, if you would email me those addresses directly so that we could look into our nuisance litigations. We have had a lot of success recently getting some orders to mitigate some of these properties. One of the properties that was reported directly to me was 48 Dorothy Street. There is a hearing on that property this week. It is on July 22nd at 10 a.m. If any of you would like to be a part of that hearing, it will be virtual, so you can join via Zoom. Please email me directly and I can send you that link out if you'd like to be involved in that hearing. Also, I received an email about 131 Clare Drive. An order has already been issued to demolish that location. They are just waiting on approval from planning and environmental, but we expect that to happen within the next 2 or 3 months. So that property should be demolished soon. If you all have any other questions or complaints, I'll take those at this time.
Is there any questions for the benefit of the body? Gloria?
one briefly, Solicitor Barnes, I understand that you can come in if you've missed your court date every day from 8 o'clock calendar. Is there any way we can specially set for those who are unable to come in and meet that 8 o'clock calendar?
If you come into the courthouse, you can go to window 12 specifically, and they can set that court date for a time that's amenable to you.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
No problem.
Paul McMurray? Oh, yeah, okay. With that, appreciate all the work that you're doing, Attorney Burns, for everything that you do in the Solicitor's Office. Appreciate it. Moving forward to Mr. Henry from the Commissioner Airing's office. Mr. Miss, I see you unmute, but I think you're maybe an audio issue. All right, I'm gonna come back around to you, Miss Yolanda Bozeman, sorry. Community Outreach Coordinator.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yolanda Bozeman with Department of Watershed Management. And I appreciate you all meeting tonight. Basically, what we just wanted you all to know that we understand that during COVID, that everybody is at home more so than usual. And if you find yourself having issues as it relates to paying your water bill, we want you all to remember that we do have Care and Concern that would actually assist with that. And basically, we ask that you stay hydrated because it is getting to be the summer months and it is extremely hot outside from time to time. So we ask that you drink plenty of water and stay hydrated to avoid a heat stroke. And that's basically all that I have. I did put my information in the chat. So if you need to contact me, just feel free to.
Awesome. Is there any questions for the Office of
Watershed?
We appreciate all the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Moving forward, we're going to move forward to Officer Lawrence from the SWEET team.
Hello, good evening, all. I just have some important information to give out. It's a service change notification as it relates to yard trimming. It's going to start effective July 26th Yard trimming will be collected every other week until further notice. This is due to staff shortening. So until we can get that under control, we're just gonna be collecting every other week. Garbage and recycling will still be collected every other week. Yard trimming will be the only one that will be every other week. If you have over 20 bags, please remember to schedule it for bulk collection, large piles or large pieces of furniture. Schedule for bulk collection and do not place them at the curb before the day before your scheduled pickup date. If you have any illegal dumping, call 311 to report it. We're gonna get out and do an investigation on it and see if we can hold somebody accountable for that. And NPU-Y, we have issued citations to a couple of individuals for dumping in the area. They have been actually issued the citations. So, so if you see it, just report it, and we're gonna get in there and get it taken care of. That's all I have for tonight. If anybody have any questions or concerns for.
Awesome. Randy, do you have a question?
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's considering the yard trimmings. I've got two properties that, one, they've been out almost 2 months and haven't been picked up. I've called it in. It doesn't seem, I don't know what else to do. And then
Can you email me those 2 properties?
yeah, it's what's your email?
I put it back in the chat again.
In the chat?
I put it in the chat. I'll go ahead and put it again for you.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any more questions or concerns?
All right. Thank you, Officer Lawrence, for everything you're doing with the sweet team.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Moving forward to Dr. Saunders.
Good evening. I'm hearing a lot of noise. Someone needs to mute. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tanya Saunders. I'm the School Engagement Manager for Purpose Built Schools, the elementary division. Thank you so much for having me. I do have a few announcements. Reopening plan for school. I know everybody's excited to send your babies back to us. All purpose-built schools plan to return to full in-person learning in the fall with no virtual options except for the Atlanta Virtual Academy. School will start on August 2nd. This week kicks off our pre-planning, and all teachers are returning on tomorrow, preparation for the August 2nd start date. We continue to and are very interested in engaging and collaborating with the community regarding ways and strategies to ensure a safe and successful return to in-person learning. You will be notified when such events or discussions happen. Upcoming events. There will be a school supply distribution at Mount Nebo Baptist Church on Sunday, August 8th at 11:30. You are invited to attend the church service that will start at 10 a.m., where educators will be recognized. Afterwards, book bags filled with school supplies and snack boxes will be distributed to all learners. Please share this information with others. It does not matter where your child attends school. All of them are.
Could you tell me the name of the church again?
The name of the church is Mount Nebo Baptist Church.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. As I indicated, no matter where your child attends school, every child is invited to join us. Please share that information with others as well. The Urban Recipe food distribution program will start again very soon at Slater Elementary School. This is for people that reside in the Slater Elementary School area. This is the program where selected families receive large amounts of very good food every 2 weeks, I'm sorry, and it's free of charge. Additional details will be sent home shortly. There are a few things that parents have to participate in to be selected for this program. And one of the things I remember clearly is attending the orientation. So we will send that information home as soon as school starts. So please be on the lookout for that. There will also be a very large free food distribution at Carver High School on Wednesday on next Wednesday, I apologize, from 11 a.m. through 1 p.m. Just pull up to the school in the bus lane and the food boxes will be placed in your vehicle. There will be no need for you to exit your vehicle. Please share this information with families and encourage them to attend. Okay. Call to action items. Enrollment is now open for all 4 schools. I'm going to repeat, enrollment is now open for all 4 schools. Please visit the PBSA website or call any of our schools to make an appointment to register for the 21-22 school year. We are waiting on you and your babies. Open house, very important. Open house registrations will be held on July 30th from 1 p.m. through 5 p.m. for both Slater and Thomasville Heights Elementary School. The events will be held at both schools. Caregivers will be able to register their students, meet the teachers, administrators, and other key school personnel during the event. Please make plans to attend. Last announcement, and I placed the link for this in the chat bar. Join us in forming a community line. We're going to form a community line that will start on McDonough and go all the way to Carver High School. We are going to welcome our babies back. Please see the link in the chat box if you would like to join us in this line and forming this line to bring the students back to school. We're going to be there. We're going to be holding up welcome back signs. We're happy to see you. You're going to have a dynamic year, all sorts of positive reinforcement and encouragement for our babies. Please join us. Thank you. I'll take any questions that you may have at this time. I saw Gloria. What did you have your hand?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna allow for just Gloria and then we'll move.
Yeah,
on.
yes, Dr. Saunders, that was excellent. What you stated in terms of opening and teachers return, is that APS-Y? That's APS-Y?
For which event? For which one?
For the opening date and the return of the teachers, the opening date.
No, that's for purpose-built schools.
Okay, excellent, Dr.
When I speak for PSA only,
Okay.
purpose-built schools only. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, APS, I believe I heard someone say their start date is the 5th.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Saunders.
You are welcome. Any other questions?
Thank you, Dr. Saunders, for all the work that you do with PPSA.
Thank you, Troy.
All right.
Yes, my name is Janice.
Janice, you had a question?
Yes, no, I just wanted to say it's a group called Hands on Atlanta that's been coming to the Manor 3 apartments every Wednesday, bringing food for the kids. And I'm not sure if it's any other community that they've been doing this in, but it's a wonderful situation. And we really appreciate all their work. Number 2, the lot that you're talking about, is that the one that's fenced in beside the 3-way area? They were talking about that lot, overgrowth.
Yeah, the one that we probably was talking to chat, but the one that is it's right next to, it's either the lot that used to be owned by the church or right next to it. And it goes back all the way into Joyland, into that dead end of Joyland.
Through the litigation, I think it's privately owned now. So I don't know exactly who has that.
Okay.
Because we were questioning that ourselves.
Okay,
And
we'll research it on our end.
Yeah, Arborist Society, yeah, please contact them because Joyland is full of trees. And we have contacted them and they had promised to send someone out to help monitor what trees would be best, because in December of 2020, we had a tree serious fall across a house. near the end. And the other part, it was really two trees. One fell completely across Lincoln Street, Southwest, all the way up into the neighbor's yard across the street. The other one fell across the back of the neighbor's house and onto the carport of the next neighbor. So please do contact them. If nothing, they can give you some good information.
Could you drop their information in the chat? Or do you,
Okay.
or
I'll go back
or
and dig
email
it
it
up.
to us.
I think I had telephone numbers and stuff because we were trying to check on that. And someone had also, through the senior program, I called to check if they could help with the trees. And they recommended that if you have habitat homes being built in your community, to contact them. I need to respond back to the lady myself. I'm sorry, forgive me for that. And to find out if they would be able to help with trimming back trees.
All right. Appreciate it, Janice, for everything. Dr. Saunders, did you have anything else to mention?
I
before we move
did.
forward?
I wanted to piggyback on something Miss Hudson just made about the food being distributed in Manor 3. Purpose Built has made sure through the summer that meals were delivered to Forest Cove every single Wednesday, as well as Manor 3 every single Wednesday. And I've been out there most of the time to help the volunteers from Hands On Atlanta. That will continue when school starts, but it will be on Wednesdays. It's something that we've done throughout last school year. Food is always distributed at those locations on Wednesdays. After school, it'll start after school when school starts back. And thank you so much, Ms. Hudson, for recognizing that and saying
You're welcome.
it. Thank you.
And
thank you.
I just heard to myself, I'm sorry, I apologize, that what's the name of that church? It's Refugee Church, right behind Louise Watley Library on Arthur Lincoln. Will be distributing school supplies this coming Sunday at the 25th around 12 o'clock.
Thank you.
Backpacks and school supplies.
All right. We can go ahead and move forward. Mr. Henry, are you able to? It seems like you haven't voice. I see your information that you put in the chat. So she put in 3 flyers in the chat. So if you would, NPU-Y, just take a look at those 3 flyers that's currently in the chat for Commissioner Arrington's office. Moving forward to, is there any other, oh, Gerard, Gerard from Parks and Recreation.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gerard Antonio Jackson. I'm the Community Facility Manager for the Department of Recreation and Parks. A few updates. The splash pad at Ferguson is now open and it's running water. We've had various people come by and utilize it, but it is open to the public as we speak. I want to let everybody know that football season has started for our centers. And for further information, check out the centers in your neighborhood and they'll let you know the ages they're serving and what their practice schedules are. Also want to let everybody know that pavilions are available for rental now. We are not currently letting the recreation centers rent out, but the pavilions and outside areas of your parks are available for rent. I also want to let everybody know that we're currently looking to hosting after school programs this year. We have a meeting on this Thursday to go over the logistics of that. As soon as I get information on that, I'll let you guys know immediately. At this time, if there's any questions or concerns about our parks, let me know.
Is there any questions for the benefit of the body? Or Sergio?
Yeah, hi. Quick question. There's 2 parks over by my house, Oak Knoll 1 and Oak Knoll 2. It's a constant dumping ground for trash, in other places around the neighborhood. But is there someone, and instead of just calling, code enforcement to help clean that stuff up? Because so far I've been doing it myself, whenever I have time, and put in a pile of trash so that 311 bulk pickup can come and pick it up. But it's, reports kind of get stagnant and not do anything, and all the tires and everything else creates a health hazard with the amount of mosquitoes that build up, especially now days with the increase of mosquito population. So it becomes a health hazard, and eventually each department says go to them, go to them, go to them. Who do we contact?
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Please send that to me as an email. I'll let the Parks Department know that there's an issue and make sure that their commissioner is aware of that issue, and we'll try to get that issue rectified.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other questions for Parks and Recreation? All right, moving forward. Is there any other city representative that I've missed?
Yes, Ali Carter here from Councilmember Dickens' office.
Okay, we're gonna, there's a section 12. Go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and allow for the council people to speak at this time, just to get you all out the way. Go ahead, Ali Carter. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry if I, overstepped or did not wait my turn. I do apologize.
Oh, no worries.
Don't have much. Just wanted to reintroduce myself. My name is Ali Amin Carter. I am the new chief of staff for Councilmember Andre Dickens. Actually was his director of constituent services for 6 years, and I left about 1.5 years ago. And I'm back now, so glad to be back here for you guys. I'll go ahead and put my email address and my telephone number in the chat. And please contact me if there's any concerns that we need to take care of. I definitely will jump on it. Those that know me from my tenure when I was there know that I jump on things right away, and I'm here for you guys. So glad to be back.
Yeah, welcome back, Ali. I know it's been years since. So it's
yes, sir.
Good,
yes,
it's
sir.
good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see all of you as well.
Is there any questions for the benefit of the body? All right, none being said, we'll move forward to Councilwoman Shepherd's office. I do not see Vincent on the line or Councilor Shepherd. So moving forward to.
Vincent's here.
Oh, Vincent. Oh, I see him. Oh, yeah, Vincent. Okay, go ahead, Vincent.
Well, good evening. I just put my contact information in the chat. If you have any concerns, from the NPU in general, I have nothing to present or pressing, unless there's something that I've overlooked from the last meeting, but I don't recall that anything was brought up last meeting for me to look into. But if there are any questions or concerns that need to be brought, of course, council member is on recess this next couple of weeks. And good evening to everyone.
Good evening. We do have a matter that's for review that's come from Councilwoman Shepherd's and Councilwoman Smith's office. Yeah, Councilwoman Smith's officers. If you would, not right now, when we get to it, maybe briefly spend 1 or 2 minutes to explain it for us. Moving forward to Councilwoman Smith's office, is anybody, a representative from Councilwoman Smith's office on the line? Being none, we're gonna go ahead and move forward to matters for voting. I see a question from Assistant Solicitor Burns. You can go ahead and, okay, never mind. Maybe that was from when we called you to the floor.
Yes,
All right,
it
moving
was.
forward.
I apologize. I forgot to announce one thing. The solicitor's office is hosting a food drive and book bag giveaway next Thursday on the 29th at Salem Bible College. It'll be from 1 to 3 p.m. And I just forgot to mention that earlier.
Oh, no worries.
Clerk, can we ask quickly, who is our community prosecutor? We haven't had a community prosecutor seemingly assigned. Would you know Solicitor Barnes, who is the assigned community prosecutor from the DA's office?
From the DA's office, I am not sure. From the solicitor's office, the city solicitor's office, it would be me.
Yes, absolutely.
But yes, but from the DA's office, I'm not aware, but I can try to find out for you.
Would you please, you might be able to get that answer quicker than anybody else, if you would.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
So we'll go ahead and move forward to matters of voting. I see Leah LaRue just joined. Welcome. So let me go to my notes briefly. Just give me a second. All right, matters of voting. To be a voting member, you must have attended 3 meetings in the last rolling 12 calendar months. That includes residents or a business representative if you are a business in the community. For voting matters, please use the raise hand feature for voting. The raise hand feature again is used in the reactions section of Zoom or in the participant section of Zoom. We have refined our process for the voting process due to various comments and concerns. We're going to allow the city planning office to briefly explain it for 1 minute or so. Then the applicant will present for 2 to 3 minutes. From there, a community chairperson will give their recommendation, or a community leader will give their recommendation from the community. We'll spend 2 minutes on that. And then the NPU zoning committee or NPU executive committee will give their recommendation. Then the floor will be open for discussion, and then we will vote. So I just wanted to give that order so that everybody is aware. Again, please use the raise hand feature if you are a voting member to vote for yes, no, or abstain. Do not use the yes, no button. The raise hand, only the raise hand feature. Gloria, one question, go ahead before we get started.
Sorry, didn't lower my hand, sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right, moving forward, we're gonna go to 176 Bowen Circle. Is the applicant online? This is the easy one. I'll explain this one. They just want a east side yard setback from 5 feet to 1.8 feet. Essentially, they want to continue building on their house, and they need that extra room for the architect and the applicant. You can go ahead and spend 1 minute. It's very quickly, just spend 1 minute discussing it if you are online. All right, moving forward, James, would you like to talk on behalf of the High Point Estates?
I'm Troy, we have no objections.
Yep, all right. NPU-Y executive team, zoning committee, we also have no objections, and go ahead, give a recommendation for approval. I would like to open the floor for a brief discussion.
Mr. Chair, process and procedure in my role as parliamentarian, I believe there has to be a second on that motion, and then the discussion ensues.
That is absolutely correct. Can I get a motion? Can I solicit a motion from the body?
Motion to approve.
Yep.
James.
Second, Gloria.
Second, all right, so I'm gonna open the floor for discussion. Is there anybody who would like to discuss anything pertaining to this property?
The only question I have, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
is the fact that there's no one present from the applicant nor a representative is present. Is that
is
out,
correct.
is
It's
out of order?
Atlanta City office. I see Leah LaRue and Aaron is online. Do you have any concern towards that?
It's their prerogative. If they choose not to be present to give their spiel, that's up to them. But that doesn't prevent you from voting on it.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion items? Moving forward, we're going to move forward for a vote. All those who approve, please use the raise hand feature. You must have attended 3 out of the last 12 months, including this month. It looks like, okay, one more. All right, we're going to hold it at 9. I am going to clear all feedback. Those who wish to not approve this, please use the raise hand feature at this time. Those who wish to abstain, please use the raise hand feature at this time. All right, my vote says 901. Did you get that, James?
That is correct, 901, Mr. Chair.
All right, motion carries to approve. Moving forward to V21-146 is the applicant online, Elick. It's Elick online.
I think his name is Eric.
Oh, Eric, I'm sorry. I'm probably just Eric. All right, moving forward to a representative from Lakewood Heights community.
I think Lyra spoke with them. I spoke with them as well. So Lyra, would you kind of give the feedback if you would, or if you're able to?
I can give it. So essentially, I talked to him as well and attended the Lakewood Heights meeting. He is looking to do a setback on the north side that is contiguous to a neighbor. So there is a neighbor on the other side of his house. So it's adjacent to a neighbor where he's trying to do the setback. So the Lakewood Heights community did notion that as a red flag and asked him to reach out to the neighbor. So they did a motion to approve on contingency that he reach out to the neighbor and let them know. I talked to him and he emailed both me and Gloria, and he did reach out to the neighbor. The neighbor is a investor, so he had to go through hoops to find the investor information, but he found it and he emailed them and CC'd me and Gloria onto that correspondence. I also talked to him and I gave him the okay to let him know that that is good enough. In addition to that, the city will also send a notice to the neighbor at least 14 days before the hearing. So from that, I felt like he, as the NPU, also felt like he made the necessary items to move forward and get approved. So Lakewood Heights made that approval, as well as the NPU-Y zoning executive board also gave a recommendation to approve.
Mr. Chair, if I could just get a little FYI that's true. In speaking to Eric, what I told him is there's 2 types of notice. There's actual notice when the person is told, but there's also legal notice. My understanding is the process is that early on, the NPU and the community, that the city sends out a postcard essentially letting the neighbor know that the property next door is going to the BZA for a variance. It's just simply a postcard. However, my understanding is there's legal notice, which is posted just prior to the BZA on the property, meaning out front of the property will be a notice that there's a variance, the applicant has requested a variance. But that is, so you've got actual notice by Eric, but you will subsequently have legal notice by which that person can then appear at the BZA, that owner investor can then appear if there is a challenge. That's my understanding.
Correct. That's correct. With that being said, I'd like to solicit a motion.
So moved that the NPU voters join Lakewood in approving this development, this variance.
Second.
Approved, motion by Gloria, seconded by Randy. Is there any discussion? None being, we'll go ahead and move forward for a vote. All those who are in favor of the motion, please use the raise hand feature at this time. Must be a voting member. All right, we're going to stop it here at 13. So I have 13.
Mr. Chair, there was one more that added, so we're at 14, yes. Well, now it's gone.
All right, 13.
13, yes. Yeah.
Those who are not in favor, please use the raise hand feature at this time. Must be a voting member. Looks like we have 0. Those who wish to abstain, please use the raised hand feature at this time. Motion carries 1301. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Moving forward to 1818 Lakewood Avenue. The applicant seeks to rezone the property from R4 to a RG2. This is also related to the CDP amendment at the bottom. James, if you can go quickly to it. 2131. If they do a rezoning, then it's required by the city to also do a CDP amendment on the same agenda. So that's why those two items are related and should be grouped for voting, personally. We sent a message. There was some issues with the Lakewood community. There was an internet connection issue, as well as what happened was the Lakewood community approved at a very close margin, 4-3, and they approved with contingent to having a parking plan. The applicant did send the parking adjustments today to us. The applicant, are you online? I forgot to mention. Are you, is the applicant online? My apologies.
I'm Christy, and I'm here, and our architect is also online to help answer questions.
Go ahead and present. My apologies, I went out of order.
That's okay. Hi, hi everyone. I'm Christy, and I'm the founder of the Mom Community. We offer support to young moms who are transitioning into stability. I think we all want to see children grow up in safe, healthy environments, and that's what their moms want too. The moms who are in our group are very loving, dedicated parents, but they just don't have resources and support systems around them, which leads to difficulty in providing for their family's needs. So we believe in caring for the moms so that they can care for their families. And we do that by providing support for parenting and finding jobs and personal growth, and hopefully soon housing. We've seen that stable housing is one of the keys to creating stabilities in a mom's life, as well as for her to be able to be consistent in accessing other services. We see the shortage of affordable housing in Atlanta, and we want to help fill in the gap in a really small way. We're just starting with housing for 2 moms. We do want to maintain the single family nature of the home, but we're simply requesting rezoning so that we can also offer supportive services such as case management. If you approve our request to rezone, our home would then be licensed by the Department of Human Services, and we would be able to provide housing for vulnerable moms who are ages 18 to 22.
Thank you, Christy. And you're the owner, right? I think I remember seeing
I'm the
you.
founder, yes.
Founder, yeah. Welcome to NPU-Y.
Thank you.
Did you talk to Ira?
Yes,
and he's
we spoke to this.
Oh, hey, Ira. Did you want
Hey.
to briefly mention, have a discussion, talk about it as well?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Ira Campbell. I'm the designer for this project. And basically, we got some good feedback from the last meeting that we had. And two of the concerns were, one was off-street parking. And I believe I sent a revised site plan to Troy and to kind of satisfy that requirement. And the other concern was, if in fact that Christy decides to sell the property at some point in time, that property would not now get used for another purpose. And so one of the suggestions actually from the Lakewood Heights Community Association was that perhaps we put some kind of verbiage in a deed restriction that would prevent someone from doing that. Since that time, there's been another concern, and I believe that centers around maybe would there be fencing around there just as added security? And Christy and I talked about that, and she's overwhelmingly in favor of putting fencing there. I believe that those were the main concerns from the last meeting.
Awesome. I would like to have a representative from the Lakewood Heights community to give a recommendation.
Mr. Chair, I would ask that you call on several members to give their input. If B is present, I would like to ask B if she would speak, and if Randy is also present, I think that when you and I spoke, Mr. Chair, that we were going to leave it in your hands, that the discrepancies that occurred at the last meeting seemed to rise to the level of a revisit. That is what my thoughts were, but I think, again, it would be best if others spoke. I think Randy would be able to speak. I think also Alira. If Alira, I called on her earlier. I'm not sure if she was not present, but Alira might be able to offer some. We've taken some photos. And again, the most critical issue is that corner and rezoning that corridor, which is all R4, and that the LCI specifically gave areas in Lakewood whereby we feel that the nature of this housing is better. We've got plenty of opportunity. Everything north of Clare is zoned specifically for this. So I will let Randy chime in.
So, we'll open up it for discussion, and so he can chime in during the discussion.
The recommendation was, I believe, Mr. Chair, that we were going to defer it back. Again, a third of the participants had no idea or needed more information. I think the vote was 4-3, 4 abstainers. And there was one vote that was not cast due to technical difficulties. And we were told that vote would have been a fourth vote, which would have been a denial of the application. But I think everyone is amenable to discussing the concerns. And I believe, again, the conversation we had with you was to defer it back.
So the recommendation from the zoning committee or the NPU was to have further discussions. So do a deferral for one more month. Just because we recently, Ira did send me the site plan, but I want to give the opportunity for the Lakewood Heights community to briefly review it. Gloria, you was on that thread too, so just wanted to give them the opportunity to review it, as well as if there is a discrepancy, then a vote must happen at the Lakewood Heights community to discuss further. So I just wanted to give them the opportunity to hash it out for one more month because of those issues. So that was the recommendation from the NPU-Y executive team. I think I sent a message to Ira, and it seems like you was okay with it, but I know that you wanted to push it forward as best you can. Is that something that you would be okay with?
I'm okay with it, and again, whatever recommendations that you guys make, then obviously I'm going to try to, satisfy those recommendations. But I think probably Christy would probably need to chime in on this as well, since she is the founder and the owner.
Christy, did you want to chime in briefly?
Sure. Well, obviously, I'm eager to able to start with the program, but I respect your opinion as the neighborhood. So.
Awesome. I'd like to open the floor for a brief discussion. Or I would like to solicit a motion before we move into discussion. So Paul, I know you have some comments, but we're gonna use you. We're gonna bring you to the floor on discussion. But I would like to solicit a motion at this time.
Mr. Chair, may I move that we adopt the findings of the executive committee and a deferral back to the Lakewood Heights community?
Can I get a second?
Second, by James.
Seconded.
Second. So approved. Motion by Gloria, seconded by Alira.
Yes.
Open up the floor for discussion. Paul, briefly. Paul, you can go ahead and speak.
This is Paul McMurray. I just say that I support this resolution because, as was stated, there were problems with the vote electronically. I also believe that people were not really aware of the actual zoning issues, and they were never really raised. And I've talked with Gloria about that, and also the CDP amendment was not known at the time of the meeting, nor was the parking plan presented at the meeting. So I think there's ample reason to defer it back for.
Okay. Awesome. And it's our apologies there, Ira. We got the CDP amendment after everything was finalized. So we didn't realize that there was an amendment that needed to go into the agenda. So we wasn't privy to it ahead of time. So that is also an issue that that was raised in the executive committee. One thing to note is that as it's currently standing, even though there was a technical issue by our bylaws, I don't know what Lakewood Heights bylaws is, but by the NPU-Y bylaws, what will happen is it will carry, the vote stands, but due to that, it will go to another meeting to potentially be revisited for rescission. And then from there, you will do a revote if you need to. So the vote, it would be two votes, one to potentially rescind if need be, or the community may just choose to say, hey, let's just continue on with the approval. So it just depends on what the community says. So I would like to open up for any further discussion before we move on for a vote.
I think, what is the motion? The motion is to defer.
To defer.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
For the expediency of time, I think that we have flushed some basic points and that we should proceed to vote.
All right, with that being said, all those who are in favor, please use the raise hand feature. Use the raise hand feature. I see a check mark that's in there.
Yes, I do not have the raised hand.
Okay, that's you. Okay, awesome. All right, 11. For those who are, I'm gonna go ahead and clear it out. So it's cleared. Those who are not in favor of deferral, please use your raise hand feature at this time. For those who wish to abstain, please use the raise hand feature. Use the raise hand feature at this time. Those who wish to abstain. All right, we have 1101. Is that correct, James, right here?
That is correct, Mr. Chair, 1101.
So motion carries to defer. Moving forward, we will go towards the Atlanta Beltline. Lynette, if you would, briefly.
Sure, I'm here.
I'm so sorry. I'd like to step back.
Okay.
As a point of clarification, for those who deferred, I forgot to mention, are you grouping Z2147 and CDP 2131? Was that the deferral of both, or do we need to do a re-vote for CDP 2131?
No, sir. I believe all would agree that, again, for many that are not aware of process, that CDP basically supports the variance, the request or the applicant's request for rezoning. So we would look, I think it's reasonable that we look at both at the same time. There's
Great.
no.
Based on that, is there, I apologize here. Based on that, is there anybody,
Mr. Chair, I think you may be frozen.
Anybody who is not agreeing with what we just mentioned, just as a point of clarity, please use the raise hand feature at this time. All right, moving forward, we're going to move forward into the Atlanta Beltline. Go ahead.
Point of order. I think we've got to do that a little bit differently. I think we've got to subsequently motion that CDP amendment that will also move forward back to the NPU. Because
okay, we will do that because we didn't. Yes, we will do that. We'll do that moving forward. I'll do that in after the Beltline.
Very good.
Go ahead, Lynette. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lynette Reed with the Atlanta Beltline, and I've been working with many of you for a couple of months. We started the process of updating the Sub-Area 2 and Sub-Area 3 master plan, and if it's helpful to share my screen and walk through some of that, I'm happy to, Madam Chair, if that's necessary, or do we just want me to kind of talk through it? I don't have screen privileges right now.
Go ahead and try again, see if it.
Okay. Yeah, now I do. All right.
Yep.
Okay. So I'll go back to the top. So back in 2019, we actually wrapped the community engagement to update the Sub-Area 2 and Sub-Area 3 master plans. And I'll kind of walk through briefly where this is at a high level. Obviously, we were hoping to adopt it in 2020, and then the pandemic hit. And so what we did at the end of the last year, so we spent the last 7 months going back to neighborhoods, getting additional feedback, making sure that voices are heard, that we're collecting feedback from the necessary parties. And you may say, well, what is the master plan? The master plan is a tool to help guide future growth and development. And the master plan specifically makes land use recommendations, mobility recommendations, how we connect, how we get around. These plans made recommendations as it relates to policies, to implement more affordable housing strategically, and that's being rolled up into our larger affordable housing effort, historic preservation, et cetera. Sub-Area 3 is right here. Just for context, a couple of months ago, this came before the NPU, and the NPU Chosewood specifically had a lot of questions still, so it was voted down. And so what I did was I reached back out to Chosewood to see if we could spend more time together addressing those questions. And we did. And a credit to all of the neighborhood people from Chosewood who are on the call right now, who are very vigilant in that process. And so what happened is in June, it went back to the Chosewood Neighborhood Association and they voted to support it. So we're here now to get a vote again for sub-area 2 and 3. And just at a very high level, I'll kind of walk through the area here is sub-area 3. Burn Street and Boulevard is the boundary here. Just like to really always give context, a lot of times people wonder what's the relationship to the CDP. Ultimately, the Comprehensive Development Plan is a tool that guides land use for all of the city, right? As it relates to the areas I just spoke about, as it relates to future growth and development, land use, mobility, et cetera. It's that tool to help guide where development goes and how it develops. So how does the master plan work in relationship to it? So the master plan, sub-area master plan functions very much like your other neighborhood plan. And so we were very strategic in all these updates to make sure that we were linking with other plans in the neighborhood. So we made sure that there were recommendations that were in the historic South Atlanta plan that were rolled up into here and other neighborhood plans. And we connected with Chosewood and some of the ideas and recommendations they had. So our goal is not that this is a standalone plan, but that it connects strategically to all of the neighborhood plans so that those recommendations are underscored and hopefully used to get more attention because they're in multiple plans. And so ultimately the city's future land use map is policy and zoning is the law. That's how all of that works together. And just want to remind you some of the things that were critical to Chosewood that came up in your last NPU a couple of months ago was there's a border that's shared between Hill Street. That's the border for the sub area. So everything east of Hill Street is in sub area 3 and everything west of Hill Street is in sub area 2. And so what we heard from the community is to make sure that the plan made recommendations and called out specifically that along Hill Street in both areas of the plan that the community desired not to see more than 5 stories, right? And anything that came along there. And one of the things we work with the community to say that we could put that desire in the plan, understanding that actual height is determined when there's a real development through the zoning process where the public is engaged. So that was a big thing that happened. And it's not only in the narrative itself, but it's actually on the map as well as a recommendation as well. And so these are the boundaries. A lot of land uses didn't change specifically because a lot of the things remain the same in terms of it being mixed use along the Beltline as relates to sub-area 3. Sub-area 2, again, these are all the 12 neighborhoods that represent sub-area 2. Chosewood is a fraction of that. And these are all the other 10, 11 neighborhoods. We visited all of them over the last year. Thank you for all the communities being so gracious to let us come out. And again, dealing with land use, mobility, affordable housing recommendations, et cetera. And so one of the things that was specific to sub-area 2, again, with that Hill Street boundary being shared, we wanted to make sure that there was consistency on both sides of the street. And so in this particular plan as well, we made the recommendation that there be a recommended height not to exceed 5 stories in this vicinity that's called out specifically on the plan, and that's in the narrative. Also, when we were working with sub-area 2 in some of the other communities, we also noted and heard from the community that there wasn't alignment around university and some of the development occurring in this hatched area. And so that's kind of undetermined at the moment. But what's going to help determine what that land use is through the direction of Councilmember Shepherd and Councilmember Smith. We're going to do a feasibility study, and hopefully to kick off soon, you'll hear more information about that. We wish we could do the whole corridor, but we're just going to look at a small portion of along University up to Metropolitan or west to Metropolitan to look at some of the existing industrial uses and to see if mixed use is appropriate or if it warrants some kind of industrial mix. And that's really what came out of when we were dealing with specifically High Point and Peoplestown and other communities. We thought, well, we just don't want to focus on that area. Let's look along west to Metropolitan as well. And so hopefully out of that feasibility study that will start in the next month or so, we'll have a determination as to what's the appropriate land uses in some of those industrial spaces. And that's really the gist of it. And just appreciating the community for letting us spend time with you over the last couple of months regarding this, and the chairperson and the Chosewood neighborhood leaders allowing us to come back.
Thank you. I'd like to get a recommendation from the Chosewood leadership. Jacob, are you online? Yep.
I would like to make a recommendation to approve this zoning or this, I'm sorry, comprehensive development plan, the master plan, sub area 2 and 3.
The NPU-Y zoning and executive board also reviewed, and we also would like to make a recommendation to approve. Have been to our multiple meetings of NPU-Y and Chosewood and every single bordering meeting several times. And I think we have spent the time to hash everything out. So we also make that recommendation to approve. Is there any, I'd like to solicit a motion before we move into the discussion.
Mr. Chair, this is James. Motion to approve both sub-area 2 master plan and sub-area 3 master plan.
Motion to approve both sub-area 2 and sub-area 3. Can I get a second?
Robin Smith, second.
Seconded by Robin Smith. I'd like to move forward for discussion. Is there anybody who would like to, you please use the raise hand feature? Gloria?
Yeah, Jacob or anybody, can you give me like 3 jugulars as to why it was a go when it was a no-go? So please just keep it real simple for me.
Sure. Specifically, like Lynette had stated with the Hill Street area, we had received quite a bit of feedback from the neighborhood regarding that specific area. And Lynette was nice enough to go through and listen to the neighborhood and add that into her master plan, updated master plan, as far as a recommendation for restricting of 5 stories in that location.
Okay. That was the major factor?
Yes, from what I could tell, that was the major factor.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Is there any other questions or comments or concerns? I'd like to close discussion and move forward for a vote. With all those who are in favor, please use the raise hand feature at this time. What's the count, James?
9 yeses, Mr. Chair.
James, there was something in the chat you may want to tell.
There is a yes in the chat. Is that a from host to everyone?
For one of the, Troy, if I may, one of the glitches in the system is the co-hosts are not able to vote other than either a check or some other manner, but there are some restrictions based on being a co-host.
Thank you. So is there any co-hosts who have voted yes?
I voted yes.
Yes, and that's my yes in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So 11 plus 1 in the chat is a total of 12 yes, Mr. Chair.
All right, moving forward. Those who are not in favor, please use the raise hand feature at this time. All right. I'm going to close it out now. Those who wish to abstain, please use the raised hand feature at this time. All right, closing out. What we have for James for count?
12-0-0.
12-0-0, motion carries. Appreciate Lynette for all the work that you have been doing over the last 3 years and getting this and listening to the community, especially to get this through.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
guys. And this won't be the last. We'll continue to work together. So thank you.
Thank you. Moving forward, I'd like to do a quick motion for solicit a motion for 2131, motion to defer.
Yes, it's really not a deferral. I don't think it, well, I think under the current policy that these items have been relegated to the community for vetting. So it will be a first impression at the community level. So my motion is that CDP 2131 be presented at the Lakewood Heights Community meeting in conjunction with the applicants, the application for variance by the application for rezoning by the same applicant.
So,
Essentially that it be presented concurrent with the revisit of the original application, which.
okay, so with the deferral from the original
Yes.
application. All right.
Would you read?
Can I get a second?
Would you reframe that motion just to
It's,
make sure?
it's essentially another motion to defer with the, in conjunction with the other, with Z
Yes.
2147.
Yes.
Second, James.
Can I, for all those, I'm going to skip that because we already skipped discussion because we have already discussed. I'm moving forward to voting. Those who have approved, please use the raise. Wishes to approve the deferral, please use the raise hand feature at this time. We have a yes in the chat, James.
That is correct. So 11 hands raised and 1 yes in the chat, so 12.
All right, clearing now. Those who wish to deny the deferral, those who wish to not defer, please use the raise hand feature at this time. So we have, Gloria, your hand's raised. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, no, sorry, apologies.
All right. So we have 0. Those who wish to abstain, please use the raise hand feature at this time. Zero. James, what's the count there?
12-0-0, Mr. Chair.
Motion carries. Moving forward. Matters for review and comment. Melody Ford is the owner. She wishes to subdivide the lot. Oh, Melody, could you briefly, this is not a voting matter, it's review and comment only. Melody, could you give like 1 minute? Just so everybody would know, or I can explain it for you.
Hey, Troy, Shantae, did you have Melody written down?
Oh, I'm sorry, Shantae. I apologize there.
Oh, no problem. It's fine. I can be Melody tonight.
My apologies.
Okay, so
I'm glad you're here. I'm like, huh?
So we actually live at 72 Hardwick Street, and the lot was originally 2 lots. That's the historical lot of record. When my father purchased for us to build, he purchased it thinking and being told it was 2 lots, but when we actually got ready to build, we found out that it was 1. The previous owner combined it into 1 lot, and the records had not been updated when he purchased. So now we just want to put it back to the historical lot of record so that he can have use on the site that is currently vacant. And so that's why we're going before the board to turn it back into 2 lots. And South Atlanta is our neighborhood, and we did go before them and they approved us doing so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So that is it. If you have any comment or concerns for this, please just jot it down and send it to us. Or if you have something to talk to, any questions for Shantae, just go ahead and say it right now. Is there any questions? All right, if you have any questions, just send it to me or Shantae and can correspond with them. Moving forward for the proposed legislation, matters of review. Vincent, are you still online?
Still here, yes, sir.
Hey, Vincent, could you spend like 1 or 2 minutes just explaining this matter for review?
Sure. This is a legislation presented by council members Shepherd and Smith regarding community gardens and their management. Basically, it's to be managed by Atlanta Park Pride. Community gardens that are on city property. To give an example, we've had a couple of incidents where In one case that I'm not directly involved with, it was the legacy residents of the neighborhood have a conflict, where they pretty much try to control the community garden based, compared to newer residents coming in. And the one that I have been involved with is in Pittsburgh, where there was a community garden that was commandeered by a single homeowner. And that homeowner was not a resident, but an organization, an activist organization in Pittsburgh. And so that's caused conflict, that's made it to at least public radio here in Atlanta. And so this legislation is making it so that it's managed by, if you have a community garden that's on city property, you have to go through Atlanta Park Pride and sign an agreement and follow those, the elements of the agreement, and so that it won't be exclusively controlled by a small group of people in the area or the neighborhood. And so that's what this is about, and hopefully that is clear. Any questions?
We're going to allow for, if you have any questions, we're going to go ahead and continue with the agenda. We are slightly behind schedule. So if you have any questions for Vincent, please send him a message in the chat, as well as if you have any concerns, please send a message and CC the executive board at secretary@npu-y@gmail.com. So that way we can get up to Vincent and Councilwoman Shepherd's office. Moving forward towards old business. I'm going to briefly talk towards old business. We submitted a letter of recommendation to the U.S. Department of Transportation for an application that the Beltline is doing to build out the Beltline Trail, the South Side Trail. So the NPU-Y did send a letter of recommendation in June. We also is in the process of closing out the Community Impact Grant 2020. So I appreciate everybody who has participated with that. We sent the message to Tony McNeil, and we're looking back, still waiting to hear back from Tony McNeil. We also received the funds for the Community Impact Grant 2021, where we plan to set a meeting this month or next month. I have to give it Gloria. And it's going to be the special projects ad hoc committee that was agreed upon during our, I think, February or January meeting. So we're going to set a meeting so we can get started with the Community Impact Grant. We are going to set a CDP review zoning committee that's going to be tentative July the 29th. There was some concerns with NPUs, with this various NPUs when it come out to core, the family core that Paul has mentioned in several meetings with NPU-A, and wanted to set a dedicated meeting to discuss that. So we're tentatively going to set one for July 29th so that we can get review and comments too before the next city council meeting where they would discuss the CDP. So this particularly towards the CDP, reviewing the CDP as it stands now, and the zoning legislation. So we're going to set a dedicated meeting towards that.
Mr. Chairman, you have a question from Jacob.
I'm gonna open the floor for after this last announcement. Also, we voted last month for the Atlanta housing, particularly the Inglewood Manor, that we tried to press for a deferral, but the director, Kenyatta Holmes, said she was going to mark it as a no vote, meaning a no recommendation. So I wanted to make it aware to the NPU-Y that currently that's what it stands. And if we have concerns or pressing, I've been sending emails back and forth trying to convince her to defer. Please voice your opinion to me, and as well as try to reach out to Kenyatta Holmes and the BZ, with the BZA or the zoning ZRB, excuse me, for the ZRB. I'm gonna open it up for any questions. I'll call Paul to the floor.
Mr. Chair, if I may, can we limit comments to at least a minute so that we can get back on schedule?
Yeah. We'll limit the comments to a minute. Thank you, James. Paul, you on mute.
Are you recognizing me?
Yep, go ahead.
Comment. To sort of prep for that meeting, and also given that the letter sent out by the NPU-A chairperson in which he was very critical of the 2021 CDP, which I read, I think everyone in NPU-Y should read it. I'd like to make a request that we send it out to everyone through our NPU-Y email list.
James, did you get that? Essentially, the email that was sent by NPU-A discussing the issues with the CDP. We would like to send that out through our channels of NPU-Y, our social media channels. And
I will get that done, Mr. Chair.
appreciate it. Jacob?
Yes, so my question is, I just want to confirm that the reason that the comprehensive development plan is coming back is so that we can discuss what we would call the single family core zoning. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that dedicated meeting is to discuss the CDP. So CDP was released, a draft was released via their website. And we're going to spend some dedicated time to discuss that because it has a lot of issues around the core. Single family core has a lot of issues around density, transportation that was brought up by NPU-A and so forth. So we wanted to spend a dedicated meeting for that and not spend the time in this meeting to discuss in great detail.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Troy.
No problem. Gloria?
Yes, sir. I think we should always remind the body that we're not the last ditch effort if there is opposition, that ultimately the final hearing is downrange. I believe at the BZA, I think you said ZRB as well. And that's when you equally have the opportunity, I think, to voice voice your concerns and or your opposition. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. We will send the ZRB hearing, I think it's August the 5th and 12th, but I will get back with you all and I will send one through the NPU-Y channels, social media channels, just in case we need to voice our opposition towards that in those meetings. Moving forward to new business. City of Atlanta is moving into phase 4, meaning that we will be meeting in person soon. So right now, my opinion, I haven't talked to the executive committee, but my opinion is to probably do a hybrid approach in September, where we can do both the Zoom and in person. But I need we can't do it in August because we need a month to really hash out the details of how we're going to do it and execute. So my opinion or recommendation is to do it in September. Also, we plan to do a bylaws meeting in August as well, just because there's some items in the bylaws that we need to address, and we'll bring it to the floor in August. We're going to move forward into committee reports. Is there anybody from the Communications Committee, which is now me and James at this point? James, did you have anything?
No, just to encourage people to visit our social media channels, Facebook and website. That's it.
Yep. And we are going to start in a new initiative to increase awareness and engagement. That is courtesy of the Impact Grant of 2021. So we do have some funds to increase awareness. So we're going to do a really big push. One of the items, as Gloria mentioned, is trying to get either newsletters or a brochure out to the community so that they are aware of NPU-Y and understand the importance of NPU-Y. Moving forward to the Education Committee.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Oh, okay, sorry. My name is Monique. I'm the Education Committee Chair. As you all heard from PBSA, that they start school August 2nd and APS starts school August 5th. So desperately need a lot of support in reacclimating our young people back into the school space, but just in general, just a lot of space for healing and restoration. So we'll be working on how do we connect and support students in this moment. One, of course, is the opportunity to do a community line. So I think that'll be really exciting. So please lean into that. I'll send out another reminder for the exact times and dates and get people organized for that. Also, I just put in the chat a blog that I just wrote about not going back to normal, even though we're going back to school. So if you want to be a part of some of the work I'm doing also around matching speakers with schools or mentors or volunteers with our different schools in the area, please fill out that survey and I can get information to you. We will actually start having committee meetings if you're interested in being on the education committee starting next month. Hopefully we can have some in-person ones. So that's all I got, but please get ready to work. I mean, you got a lot of children who need a lot of support right now. I know for a fact, like we've had 6 children, either they have been killed or someone close to them in their family have been killed and they've witnessed it, right? So I want you to like think about like what kind of support does our neighborhood kids need if that's their like what's happening in their homes. So are there any questions about supporting the education committee? We'll really launch more in August, so stay tuned.
And I'd like to make a comment. We did give an extended, extended her capabilities from the education committee to also include the education of neighbors. So just understanding what zoning is, what it's all about, the hard terminology that they have in zoning and understanding that, and pushing NPU University as well as just keeping the overall education of the community as a whole. So that is also encompassing of the education committee that we gave roles to. Moving forward to public safety, Gloria.
Yes, thank God. To that end, I think Aaron and or Leah may be on. There are a couple upcoming NPU University classes. One of them is bylaws. I forgot what the other one is, but they can speak to it, but just that education piece. August 9th, the city opens back up to the public. My understanding there's skeletal staffs of many of the departments already back in place. James said that he would download in the chat a copy of the schedule of the Public Safety Committee, which meets the 1st and the 3rd. It's long, but you can scroll through and get to the jugular, which may be committee assignments, an opportunity to hear directly from the chief. Sometimes ACRB is also on the platform, I think quarterly, but it's just a good tool. And we're fortunate because the chair, public safety chair, is one of our own. She is Council Member George Shepherd, who shares a good portion of the NPU-Y community. So again, James, if you will load that into the chat. I Facebook all of the social media, but you can also do it just by audio while you're doing this. Again, and you can scroll through and just get the salient parts or just kind of listen to the whole thing. A couple of initiatives that are taking place. Chris Brown, are you still on? Chris Brown is the APAB Public Safety Chair, and he's been holding Thursday evening Cincy sessions. The biggest last Thursday dealt with the prison farm and again, all the things around whether it should be placed in southeast quadrant of the city. It's technically in DeKalb County, but it is in the city of Atlanta. So that's a big conversation. A couple other initiatives, ATAG, which is the alcohol, It's ATAG 3, which means an ad hoc committee by which 2 earlier committees had actually been in panel. What they did, I'm not real sure. I think this is a revisit, and it all goes back to the neighborhoods who feel like there's no preventing these erroneous liquor licenses applicants from coming in and basically continuing to perpetrate a culture that is not good for the communities. That's again what many of us feel. Again, I mentioned APAB has now what's called a Citizens Participation Committee that they're looking to impanel. And I told them they could look right towards NPU-Y and our own Stacey, can you hear me? And our own Stacey Spriggs, who is spearheading the Neighborhood Watch program. It's a bona fide program that's rooted in the city under the COPS unit. I think as we speak more at APAB, they're beginning to see that that's a mantra that we all take handle on, because crime is the #1 issue in the city. The mayor has recently started an anti-violence campaign. I believe, again, it's an ad hoc committee, but it's different constituents, stakeholders from the city. Again, we just know about that horrific murder in the metropolitan area. I'm not sure if it was city of Atlanta, of just a golfer just comes upon a crime and is a witness. National Night Out. Again, as Chairman says, that we're going to be meeting to figure out how to use some of our funding. It is a national event that supports communities nationally. It is the 3rd Tuesday in August. We've been discussing it at the Lakewood Heights level. We're hoping that we can get the whole NPU-Y involved, a couple places, the gazebo at South Bend, and or Omar Ali has offered to provide that as a venue. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, moving forward to.
I'm sorry, one more thing. One more thing. This is kind of important. It really centers in Lakewood Heights. We have that whole corridor of epicenter of criminal activity. We've heard back from the city. Indeed, there is no license to operate that a couple of those entities, nor is it zoning, but there's no license, which faces or fronts on 8 Leaf Year. And we wanted to get that information to the committee and get it to the stakeholders who have been fighting vigilantly, because it's been an arson, I think a homicide. But again, we have received back from the city actual acknowledgement that there is no business license to operate there. So there you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving forward to the Oversight Committee, James, did you want to briefly explain? I know Yolanda, are you online? I think she's not online anymore.
I am online.
Oh, you're online? Oh, hey, Yolanda. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So we met, well, actually we got an update via email from Akeisha Branch, the general manager for Solaris Amphitheater. They are working on cleaning and preparing the venue for their first show, which will be on August 7th. That will be The Kings of Leon. They're pretty busy, but things are going well. And they're doing some massive hiring. So thank you and thank James for getting that flyer out so that people can see that. So, and I think that's it. That's all I had.
All right, thank you. Moving forward to announcements. Is there any brief announcements?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yep.
I just want to call quick attention to a lot of the things that we've dropped in the chat. So earlier today, you talked about the great work that's been done in Arthur Langford Park. So there's a few pictures out there if anybody want to go out and take a look at those. For the point that Paul asked us to distribute the email from NPU-A, I dropped all that stuff into this folder, NPU-A CDP. We've talked about Solaris, the code enforcement report is here. Oh, and then the last thing, I guess Major Pete didn't share, but he did send us a flyer. There's the Zone 3 virtual town hall. Actually, we did talk about it before the meeting, but that flyer is out here as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm so sorry I forgot that. I'm so sorry. That was a critical part of the public safety briefing. We talked earlier and I forgot that there's registration. I think James will show you on that flyer. And we're trying to get as many of the constituents at table. It's the big push in the city now is these civic dinners and these round tables in an effort to hear from the citizens, essentially. So sorry, I really forgot that. Thank you, James.
No problem. All right, is there any other announcements?
Yes, I have one.
Hey, Adrian.
Hi, so I just dropped in the chat. One of my colleagues, Sabrina Mobley, is recruiting for a focus group for medical marijuana. So you don't have to have used medical marijuana. We just want your opinion. But the catch is you have to be, we're recruiting for people over the age of 65. So it pays $50. It's about an hour and a half focus group, pays $50. And yeah, they just want to get your opinion, what you think about medical marijuana. Okay, so
Thank you.
email smobley@msm.edu if you're interested in filling out the screener.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whoever. Sorry, I had a joke, but it's inappropriate for NPU-Y. Moving forward, Paul.
Well, I wanted to ask Ms. Polar, what is Credit Research Center or Morehouse School of Medicine doing about environmental racism in NPU-Y? Or what information do they have on that subject?
Okay, yeah, so I can bring to the next meeting someone to talk to you about what we're doing. And also we have some handouts on environmental health, particularly as it relates to African American neighborhoods. So yeah, I can bring you some information for next month.
All right, well, I'll try to send you an email because I just like to get a preview. You know, if you've got something like.
Oh, sure, sure.
I'll put in the chat my email, and I'd like to get a preview of what you're going to do, because I'd like some specific information, because I think it does impact the 2001 CBP, which is one of its problems. It doesn't deal with environmental racism. So
okay,
that's the reason why.
Yeah,
okay.
so I would love to talk to you about that. I'm also on the Fulton County Citizens Commission for the Environment. And so on the county level, there's work going on for environmental racism as well. So I can also share that with you.
Awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward to plan's report.
Okay.
A little bit behind.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Adrian. Planners report.
Hey, everybody. All right, as you guys have already mentioned, the draft 2021 Comprehensive Development Plan can be found online, or you can pick up a copy at a library near you for your neighbors who don't have internet access. As Gloria mentioned, there is an NPU University class this month. The bylaws clinic is going to be July 29th at 6 p.m. Bylaws committee members and anyone interested in learning more about NPU bylaws should definitely check that out. Applications for the 2022 Atlanta Main Street program are open from July 15th to August 15th. A donation of $20,000 will be provided to up to 3 community-based nonprofit organizations to implement the National Main Street Framework and hire part-time staff to support their neighborhood business district. And lastly, the Urban Enterprise Zone is a property tax abatement for business owners, creating jobs, affordable housing, and other community benefits in target areas. The state's General Assembly passed changes to the law that city planning requested, and Governor Kemp has signed that bill into law. The Department of City Planning is preparing legislation to update the city's code, and we'll keep everyone updated. And if you'd like more information on that, you can email uez@atlantagA.gov. And that's all I've got for you tonight.
Thank you. Is there any questions for planners report?
Yeah, Aaron, hey, there was a second class that's also planned in the next 30 days, isn't it, for NPU University? And can you kind of tell folks how they can go and see the archive classes there as well, please?
So if It doesn't hit, they're usually really good at putting them on in the report. It might be in early August is why it didn't get on this one.
I
But
can speak to that, Aaron. This is Leah.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You would do a much better job.
No, you did just fine. And you're right, actually. We don't typically put the following month's classes into the planner's report unless that is at the beginning of the month. But I think what Ms. Gloria, first of all, hello, NPU-Y, good evening. I think what Ms. Gloria is referring to is the Community Leadership Institute of Atlanta, which begins August 2nd, but we wrapped up interviews for that this morning and we're sending out, I don't remember whether we had applicants. Oh, we did have, no,
Ms.
not
Gloria.
from Y. We didn't have applicants from NPU-Y. Now
I
that
think
I
Ms.
think,
Gloria, I think Ms. Gloria applied. Is that?
no, she did not. Or at least not to this cohort. I don't know if, Ms. Gloria,
Okay.
did you intend to apply?
Wait. This is the Carl Vincent Institute?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I went to the second interview. I mean, the application, then the second interview. That doesn't sound good.
Wait, did I interview you recently?
Just I think 2 days ago, you, Daniel, and Tony.
Listen, Miss Gloria, it's been a long week. That's all I can tell. And listen, all jokes aside, yeah, you're right. Actually, now that I think of it, you were our second interview. So here's what I will tell you. We do like 50 interviews and we do them back to back, literally 15 minutes back. Oh, I remember because we moved yours to 11:15. That's right. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right, Troy. Thank you you're right. Sorry. It's just my memory. It's not Miss Gloria, it's my memory.
Okay.
But anyway, we do have the Community Leadership Institute of Atlanta is starting on August 2nd. We wrapped up the interviews this morning. We are sending out decision letters as soon as I type them up tonight after I finish this meeting. They will go out before midnight at some point. And we also have elections integrity clinic in August. It's the 4th Thursday of August, and that wouldn't be in Erin's report yet. She would be reporting on that next month. But yeah, election integrity will be next month. And you can access the archived classes at npuatlanta.org. And if you click on, I don't remember the whole path, so just go to the website, npuatlanta.org. And if you click on NPU University, you'll see a drop-down box, and one of them will say 2020 courses or past courses or something like that, where you can find old courses. I heard someone mentioning, maybe Troy mentioning, that Monique would be focusing on education for neighbors as well, including NPU University. And I think one of you, either Monique or Troy, mentioned zoning education. You can definitely find at least 2 of the zoning courses that we've done, Zoning 1 and Zoning 2.
Yep.
Fundamentals 1 and Zoning Fundamentals 2. I don't think Zoning Fundamentals 3 would be recorded because it's a hands-on exercise. It's a practicum course, so you're actually doing a real zoning project with a real application. But the other ones are definitely online, and you can feel free to watch them, or of course register for the next ones that we have.
Yeah, and James have it shared right now. If you look at the screen, you'll see the various NPU versus courses.
Yeah, I will tell you that page, I think it's because it has so much content, that page loads pretty slowly. So if you go to the page, it happens to me a lot. If you go to the page and you don't see anything, just wait a couple seconds. It'll start to bring it up, depending on your data strength, signal strength, or whatever.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Leah. And thank you for joining. All right, moving forward. I think that is it. We do not have any presentations. So we are going to go ahead and solicit a motion for adjournment if all those who are in favor.
Just
Motion
one
to adjourn, James.
Mr. Chair, one last thing to remind individuals that you can always find our agenda at the planning site under NPU-Y, but it's posted there. And there also, they will find a link if they become if they become disoriented and aren't able to find the link. It's always 10 days out, I believe, at the planning site at City of Atlanta Planning. And it also contains a link to tonight's meeting.
It's 7 days out. And it also contains your bylaws, by the way. If you're ever, I always get people reaching out to me asking for a copy of their NPU bylaws. It's on every single agenda, on every meeting agenda. At the bottom of the first page, you'll see a link to your, yes, sir. You'll see a link to your NPU's bylaws at the bottom of.
Yeah, there it is. How about
Okay, I did not know that. And we review it every month.
Wow.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah.
I know it's there, Leah. I know it's I see.
I knew you would know if no one else knew. I knew it. But listen, real quickly, y'all. One other thing, since Ms. Gloria brought it up, our website is undergoing a revamp. We learned, I hate the city's web. Oh, I should not say that. I'm not going to finish that sentence. The city's website needs work. And because of the platform that it's on, some of you may understand this better than I do, but because of the platform, we're limited in the types of changes that we can make to the website. But we did do some pretty heavy lifting to revamp. We reorganized the information. That goes live at like 8 a.m. tomorrow. We've been working on it for like 6 months. It goes live at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So Ms. Gloria and everyone else, where you're accustomed to finding the agendas and the links, it's going to be in a different place, but it will be much easier to find and very easily organized. I don't even have to tell you where it will be because you'll see it immediately. So just wanted to make that clear. It's not where it normally is, but if you go to the NPU page, you'll see it easily.
Thanks for that update, Leah. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to motion to adjourn, or solicit a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Okay, James.
Well, I guess, okay. Jason, I think you motioned. So okay. It's motion by Gloria, second by James. And we're going to keep the chat open for another 15 minutes or so for any questions, feedback, comments, or concerns that you all have with the meeting so that we can address those issues as well. All right, so the meeting is officially adjourned. I appreciate everybody who are attending these meetings. It means a lot to the NPU as well as to the city, as well as to the community, because we're making change in the community. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Right,
good night, all. Good night, all. Mr. Chair, traveling back soon?
Yep.
Very
So
good.
traveling back on Wednesday.
Safe travels. It's raining profusely here. Good weather for travel.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we had our cousin living we stayed there for while we was gone. Our cousin was there, but now they're.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night.
All right, appreciate it, Suzanne.
Good night. Good night, all. Nice. Your people looking forward to coming back? Your little one?
Oh, I'm not sure. She's been at the beach.
Oh, nice. Learned any Spanish?
It'd be hard to get her away from that beach area.
Awesome.
Yeah, we learned a little bit. Yeah, we learning. I know a lot more Spanish than I did coming into
That's
Costa Rica.
awesome.
So
Your summer is envied, but I'm gonna find myself to Key West before it's all over with. That'll be my stake. Take care of all. Take care, everyone, and be well.
When are you going to Key West?
Take care. Who's asking? I could use a partner. Who's asking?
Is that a date?
Key West.
I'm fortunate. I have an uncle who built seawalls down there, so they live in Marathon, which is up from the Keys. So I'm just gonna leisurely do it and figure out how long I have to stay and just hope good weather. I mean, it can get stormy down there, so there you are.
Man, I wish I could go to Key. I went to Key West a couple of years ago.
Oh, it's awesome. That's where the writer, what's his name?
Hemingway. And
Hemingway.
it's actually worth going to his house. Even though it's a tourist trap, it's still worth it.
But it's also bikeable. I mean, the traffic is controlled in such a way it was absolutely a bikeable little island. And it's the furthest point south in the US there's a point there where you go and it's a little tourist, but it says you're only 90 miles from Cuba. So